our own city. We are back here on the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show. Jerry Dickinson is my guest. I just said to you in the commercial break, I'm not going to get into this on the show, but now I am.
Okay.
And a lot of this speaks to just how long I've been in this job and just how long I've been doing this show. But when I think about it, I've had Nelson Mandela on this show when he first got out of prison. I interviewed his wife. I interviewed his daughters. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about apartheid in South Africa, the fight for freedom in South Africa, the protests we used to have in downtown Pittsburgh every Saturday. Jake Malyans and some other folks were out there fighting. We fought for the people we fought apartheid in South Africa. There's a fight here in Pittsburgh, but I wonder if we have the same fight against apartheid right in our own backyard.
Yeah, I think we're missing some of that. And, when you look at the disparities, more Black children in Pittsburgh grew up in poverty than 95% of other cities. Homicide rate for Black men is some of the highest in all the country. Black women, fetal deaths for Black women is higher than than for white women. I mean, the numbers here are so drastic. And as you said, we don't have the same fight for fighting those issues. And I think part of it is that we really haven't had a moral vision in this city for a long time. We've had the post kind of industrial, post steel mill kind of era fighting for this region, but we've never had a moral vision of actually attaching ourselves to something that's greater than ourselves. We just haven't had that for a long time. And I think part of the reason why this essay, I think, has gained a lot of attention is because I think a lot of folks are now saying to themselves, this is that vision. This is that moral imperative. Ending Pittsburgh's apartheid and fighting to address and end these racial disparities is what we should be fighting for. And so while we haven't had a fight in us over the racial disparity question in Pittsburgh in the past, now we have, and we know, and we can acknowledge these disparities and move forward with, solutions to help, rectify this problem. I do think that this is the major issue for our generation. And I think we can become, a city, a world-class city of racial equality, if we put our minds to it, if we have a sustained effort by local politicians, by the private sector, and by our communities to really address this problem.
I was going to say, and I apologize, we probably only have about 2 minutes left. So what then becomes the call to action? First of all, everyone needs to go online and read this commentary. If they haven't read it already, they need to go and read it. And hopefully that's part of the nudge to get started with this. But other than that, what's the call to action, Jerry?
Yeah, the call to action is, I think, first, one, we've acknowledged we have an apartheid problem here in Pittsburgh. Two, we need to acknowledge and grasp onto this as a moral vision. So everyone in Pittsburgh can, attach themselves to this moral vision, this moral imperative. And then three, it is now coming together to put together an action plan. And that's something that I'm going to be doing here in the next few months, actually in the midst of working through policies and practices, both at the state and federal level, to actually address these problems and these issues. And I think once we start to crystallize these types of policies and practices to address each and every one of these disparities in income and health and educational and occupational outcomes, I think we have a plan, we can move forward with things, and we can, begin to address these problems, which, I'm looking forward to doing, whether it be in my role as a law professor, community advocate, or as an elected official, whatever it may be. I'm looking forward to, addressing these problems.
I was going to say, somewhere in there, I felt like you were setting the stage for something, but we won't get into that today. We'll save that for the next time you're on the show. Jerry Dickinson, thanks so much. Thanks for writing the commentary. It is food for thought, and I suspect it's a conversation we need to keep going here for sure. Thanks so much for all you do. Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Lynn. I appreciate it. Okay.
And we'll be back. I'll come back in just a minute with some closing thoughts when the Lynne Hayes Freeland Show continues.